Hey guys, what is going on? In this video, we're talking about where I get all of my music for any of my video projects. I've wanted to make this video for a long time because music is one of the most important things. Whether you're making a film or a YouTube video or an Instagram story, music is kind of the underlying driving force of everything that you do. If you don't have good, solid music, then your piece is gonna fall flat no matter what you do. So music is important. It really sets the emotional tone for the entire piece, and it gives your viewers an instant feeling of what the content is and kind of the emotions behind it. There's so much that goes into picking the right music for the scene or for the film. And you see this all the time done wrong, when people put music behind a piece and it just doesn't fit. You can tell right away if something is way too dramatic for the content that you're watching. So I get asked all the time, where do I get my music? When I first started a production company, the way we got music was very different than how we get it now. So back then we had to find composers or we had to buy individual tracks to fit our pieces, and it becomes very expensive. There's projects that I've done that have been upwards of $20,000 just for one video, which is absolutely nuts, but that's what happens when you pay a composer to write an original piece of music for your content. However, nowadays it's so much easier. There's actually sites online that give you access to an entire library for one cost. And there's one site that stands out among all the rest, and that is Artlist. So essentially what Artlist is you pay a yearly fee of $200 and you basically have access to all of their content, and you can use it for anything. So you can use it for your YouTube videos, you can use it for your clients, you could use it for your Instagram, you can use it for any video project that comes your way as long as you're a member. And if you decide to cancel your membership, anything you made during that membership can still be used. So all the music that's on my videos now, even if I decided to cancel down the road, the music would still be licensed for those videos. And this is really changing the game for music, because now we don't have to worry about spending crazy amounts of money on music, and we have access to a full library to really use to craft our videos the way we want to craft them. So how it works is you can sort the library by type or style or what it is that you're actually shooting, and you could put a few filters to find the music that you want to find. Then you just go through and search track by track, listening to all the tracks. And when you find something you like, you check out, and then you can download it right away. And this music will always live in your library that you've downloaded, so you could always go back to it if you need to find it. It's a super simple process, and you get some awesome music really quickly. Artlist has a huge library that they're expanding every day. I keep getting emails with new artists, new songs, so it's something I highly suggest if you are looking for a solution to music for your videos. When I first started YouTube, I was just using these YouTube channels that were royalty-free songs, but the issue is, unless you have like a paid service like Artlist, there's no telling when a song might go from royalty-free to paid for, and all of a sudden your videos get demonetized or someone else is getting the money from it. So if you just go to one of these YouTube channels that's promoting free tracks for vloggers, you don't necessarily know the rights issues and you don't know if it's gonna change down the road. When you go with a service like Artlist, you know that these songs are always gonna be royalty free and you can always use them for anything while you're a subscriber of their service. So it's a safe way to get your music so that your videos don't have issues down the road. Now, when you're picking music, there is a few things you gotta think about. You gotta think of the tone of your piece and you gotta think of what it is that you're producing. When I'm producing some of my vlogs, I want something something that's a little more cheery. I want something that's a little more like tropical house. That's the style I love using for my vlogs because it just fits that adventure travel kind of feeling. However, when I go for my short films, like my trip to Orizaba, I want something more dramatic. So I spend a lot of time digging through Artlist Library trying to find songs that are more dramatic, more cinematic, because the videos that I'm producing have more of that dramatic tone. So the way that I go about figuring out what music I'm gonna use is two ways. Sometimes I will figure out the music before I even start shooting. So there's a lot of times where I'll just be scrolling through Artlist and finding songs that I like. If I like certain songs, I'm gonna download them and I'm gonna put them on my phone so I can listen to them. This is a huge driving force when you're out shooting. If you're listening to the beat of a song, you can start thinking about how you're gonna cut a sequence. So a lot of times when I'm cutting my B-roll sequences, I have a certain pacing in mind, and the music is what drives that pacing. So if you're listening to a song, you kind of get a sense of how that song makes you feel, and it sculpts how you're going to shoot a sequence. So that's one way that I go about using music. The other is after I have a mountain of footage and I'm cutting my video, I go into Artlist and I look for tracks that work for what I'm cutting. What I'll do is I'll cut some sequences. They were not gonna be obviously locked in, but I put some shots together, kind of get a feeling of how the footage is that I shot, and then I dig through the Artlist library looking for something cinematic or dramatic. Then I download a bunch of options and play them in and out and recut to the music. It's kind of like a dance back and forth. So there's no right way to use music when you're shooting your projects. You just have to have access to good music so that you're not being stuck using the same track over and over, or you're not using stuff that doesn't fit your tracks. So guys, I'll put a link down below to Artlist. I highly suggest you go check it out. You can click around their site, listen to all their tracks. You don't have to subscribe right away. But if you use the link in my description and decide to sign up, you get an extra 2 months free on top of your year subscriptions. So it's a really awesome deal to get you 14 months of awesome music for super cheap. You could easily pay for 1 or 2 tracks for the same price that you're gonna pay for Artlist for the entire year. This online service is changing the way that music works for video producers because now we don't have to worry so much about rights and we don't have to worry so much about price. We can figure out our music before we go out and start shooting, which helps us drive the piece and helps us be more creative. Especially for everyone out there creating YouTube content, social media content, music is now more accessible so that you're not getting worried about rights and you're not having issues of getting your videos flagged wherever you're posting them. All right guys, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of awesome filmmaking tutorials, some photography tutorials. I've also got a lot of awesome vlogs that you can check out how I use my music in my videos. Also, come find me on Instagram at Jeven Dovey, and guys, I will see you on the next one.